And well, hello, welcome back, my dear friends, my dear viewers. Welcome back to another week, a fresh set of chapters. Starting this week, as always, with this week's chapter of Fairy Tale 530 of its name. I'll have to check it out when we begin the chapter because right now we are on the cover art. This week, Fairy Tale Memories number 5. Sorry about that. Damn. Fairy Tale Memories number 5, The Phantom Lord Saga. This was a good saga back then. It introduced us to Gajil and Juvia, two characters that would then join Fairy Tale. I gotta say, I always doubted Gajil. And I'm gonna be honest, I always thought that Hiro Mishima had something else planned for Gajil, but it just ended up not doing it because, I don't know, maybe he felt it was unnecessary to do so. But I always kept a hope that Gajil would be something more than just an evil guy turned good. So, moving on, past the fan arts and whatnot. Okay, so we have a flashback. Oh, we have. Okay. Oh, year X777, capital city Crocus. This was the year when the dragons disappeared. Okay, the truth about the Eclipse's gate and humanity's last hope, the ravines of time, is finally revealed. Chapter 530, Neo Eclipse. Okay. A lunar eclipse. Okay. Is this Hannah? Not Hannah, Lila. Is it? Is her? Is she? No. Oh no, it's the princess. Oh yes, it's the princess, and this is the guy with the square nose. Yeah. Okay, so I'm guessing that these 5 stars are an indicator of the 5 dragon slayers. And there we have the Eclipse Gate. The gate that had been passed down through our royal family for generations. Seeing someone finally come to open it was surprising enough. But now someone is actually coming out from the inside of the gate. Okay, so they have succeeded. What of the children? There should have been 5 of them together with me. Oh yeah. Okay, so they were transported into light form through the roof. Okay. So it really was a gate that connected different time periods. You did well in opening it. You have my thanks. Okay. Okay. Lucy's mother, Lila Hartfilia. The celestial spirit made who leapt through time, Hannah Hartfilia. And this is the King of Fury. In order to connect 2 different time periods, we needed someone to open the gate in this era. My descendants passed on the secret of this gate for generations, and finally Lila opened the gate in this era. And I just love the little animations. First it's Anna, gotta write in the book that I'm going. And then the first guy to pass it, Roger that. I'll pass it on. What's this book? Anyway, gotta pass it on to the next generation. And then it comes to Lila and it's like, oh, it's about time for me to open the exit. This is cool, this is cool. Okay, moving on. So you're telling me you're from from 400 years in the past, correct? Okay, now they're talking about the reasons and whatnot. Oh, I did not want to hand over this duty to my daughter. Well, about that, if you made a poor choice, she's kind of going to be the one to suffer the consequences. But hey, she didn't want to pass the burden on to her child. That's okay, that's okay. I want her to be able to live freely, and that's why I chose to end this burden with my generation. Okay. Sorry about my silence. I was just trying to take in this page. It's a lot of text, and I'm really not gonna read all of it. I'm just trying to. But conversely, this could potentially mean that my actions were all meaningless. No, even so, I must press on. From now on, it's my turn to do my job. Please return to your family and live happily. Okay. So she has been living. Hold on a second, because I was afraid of this last chapter, but I really didn't want to make any assumptions. You mean to tell me that she was waltzing around all this time, especially during the 7-year time skip? So she's in this world ever since X77, 777. So it's now the year 786 or no, it can't. It's 90 something. It's 790 something. So she's just been waltzing around the place and like doing nothing. Like, what has she been doing? Anyway, Your Majesty, could I ask you to destroy that gate for me? Of course, yeah, of course not. But then before we were able to reunite, Lila passed away. Could you continue from where you left off? I quickly realized the accident that had occurred. The abnormal magic that flowed in this arrow, in which magic was abundant, it was devoid of any kind of element, neither darkness nor light, but rather magic of nothingness. It would be most accurate to say that it is a magic that had no place in this age. A magic that had no place in this age. Okay. I began investigating it and I finally found it the ravines of time. Okay. Most likely due to the fact that we crossed over 400 years of time, the natural flow of time was slightly distorted. You don't say. For a mage, for a celestial spirit's mage, and a woman who lived 400 years in time, you really don't have quite the good notion of how time works, because you all were supposed to live lives 400 years in the past. If you haven't lived those lives, the actions you could have taken 400 years in the past didn't happen, and so you distorted the flow of time. I'm no time scientist, but hey, I watched Back to the Future and some episodes of Doctor Who. I think that makes me qualified enough. Perhaps I should refer to it as the very concept of time's tendencies to correct itself, and so a power that completely surpasses our understanding was born. Within the ravines of time is true nothingness. No one can even exist inside it, let alone live, not even Acnologia. Are you suggesting that we lead Acnologia there and trap him inside? No, Jalal, she's not saying that. She wants to take him to a cafe and have ice cream with him. Of course she is, you dimwit. Inconceivable to think that after all these years, these ravines of time existed, no one even discovered them. I hid their existence, of course you did. Is that space really the ravines of time, as you say? Sorry about that, I'm very sleepy. I haven't had the chance to sleep well this weekend and I had to wake up earlier today, so... At the Grand Magic Games a year ago, the whole that Eclipse Open reacted very strongly. There's no mistaking it. Normally it cannot even be seen, and it's only about as big as this orange. But if you so much as touch it by mistake, you'll meet your end. You cannot possibly get out again. And it just comes... Our plan is quite simple. It's just like... I love this guy. We will take a detour around the ravines of time and lie in wait for Acnologia behind it. And Acnologia will be in hot pursuit of us. We'll touch the ravines of time and vanish for all eternity. Man. He doesn't even finish eternity. It's just like, eternity, man. I love this guy. Will it truly all go as planned? Of course it will, said no one ever. Famous last words. Magnolia. Are you all right, Lucy? I don't want to hear any more talk about you destroying this book, okay? Of course not. At the time, I had no idea that it was really Nas's book. You want to try opening it? I think I'm beginning to understand the meaning of the first words. Happy? No, you can't be smart. I mean, you can, but come on, don't lose your cute self. I mean, no, you leave the smart word for Charlotte and Lillian. And Lily, no, Happy. When that time comes, the only thing that can save Natsu is the power of his friends, you all, says Mavis. Before we do what Zeref said, my desire is not something so small. Let's open it. Okay, and Zeref continues his lunatic speech of how he thought that Nuts would be able to destroy him. It's alright, I can go back to normal. With Mavis' power, I can return to my normal self. Neo... What? I'm not talking about traveling to the past or future. I'll live my life over again. By reset. Oh, that makes sense. I'll return to the time before I became immortal. This time no one will be hurt and you'll finally be human again and we can kill Acnologia. There's no better happy ending than that. The hell you're talking about? What will happen to us and everyone else? Who knows? After all, this isn't my world anymore. Natsu is getting really hurt by those flames. And he's drooling quite intensively. If that's drool, I don't think it is. This whole time we've been gritting our teeth and living in his world. There are two keys to the Neo Eclipse. The first is Mavis. She'll come of her own accord before long. And the second is the ravines of time. Humanity's last hope. humanity's last hope, is in Zeref's hand, to be continued in chapter 531, Pegasus vs. Black Dragon. I gotta say, I've said this before, but this talk of the ravines of time and Neo Eclipse is just... damn, it looks so forced. Like, it's the same thing with Hana. Like, Zeref has been here, has been in this world, in this age. Like, he hasn't even traveled through time. He has lived the 400 years, like, straight. He's been in the world for, like, longer than Hana. And she was able to discover something that he, in 400 years, couldn't. Like, if Mavis and the Ravines of Time were the key all along, then why couldn't he have just done it before? I mean, of course, if he had done it, that wouldn't be a story, but introducing all of this now just seems so forced. Like, all of a sudden, a guy who had no chances of being defeated, suddenly there's a magic way to defeat him. What is that? Oh, it's a mini black hole we call the Ravines of Time. And then all of a sudden, Zeref doesn't want to kill everyone, but rather he wants to travel, to reset time. Not even travel to the past, he wants to reset time. Surely it would be easier to... with his power, it should be easier to travel to the past and avoid his village to be destroyed. Therefore, his family wouldn't die, Natsu wouldn't die. Or maybe even go back in time and kill Acnologia before he becomes a massive, overpowered dragon. But hey, that's just me. I enjoyed this chapter. I'm not saying that I didn't. I enjoyed it. I mean, I still think that some of this talk of Ravines of Time and Neo Eclipse is a little bit forced, but hey. Sometimes the best concepts in a story are introduced in a somewhat forceful way, but they end up working quite well. For instance, in the Harry Potter saga, we only learned of the Horcruxes by, like, what, book 6? Yes, it was in the Half-Blood Prince we learned of Horcruxes, and they played a major part in that book and in the last one, so we can say that the concept of Horcruxes was introduced quite forcibly and not prematurely, but way down the line. But they ended up working okay, so that is my hope, that the Ravines of Time are the Horcruxes to this story. So yeah, there isn't anything else, the rest is just fan arts. Okay, let us talk, let us speak, let me change, let us speak. Now, it's no surprise to any of you, and I've said this now in this video, I do think that these concepts of the Ravines of Time and Neo Eclipse are a little bit forceful. Zeref, being the powerful mage he is, surely he had other tools at his disposal. Would he be willing to just look for them? Because if he'd known of the Ravines of Time all this time, all along, like, he could have thought of a better way to do it. Like, if he knew about the Ravines of Time, why not bait Acnologia himself? Why let him run rampant in the world if he just knew what he could do? Like, sure, that wouldn't help him with his situation, it probably wouldn't be beneficial to him, but he could have done something good. Like, there were times, I'm gonna be honest, there were times where I thought Zeref was actually just a good guy with a, I don't know, sort of double persona, or perhaps even a mental illness. But the guy's just plain crazy. That's still a mental illness. But there's not a speck of good in this guy, not anymore. And I seriously doubt it that there was one before. Like, I'm doubtless to see. Like, we met Zeref back in Terojima as like an aloof guy, apparently who didn't know how to express his emotions. He just looked at Natsu. He was like all cry and shaky. Then he exploded in rage. And then from then on, Zeref has just been. He then killed Purihito, the leader of the seven kin of Purgatory. And then from then on, it just went. It just went in ascension. He became. I don't know if he was the Emperor of Alvarez already, but probably in the 7-year period, either he was the Emperor or he consolidated his power as Emperor. And then because if we think about it, him being an Emperor and being so long in Tenrojima, like, why? Some things just don't add up yet. What I think we really need in Fairy Tail right now is a little bit more of backstory. I know we had quite a bit of backstory for Zeref already. Like, we know why he did that to Natsu. We know why he turned Natsu into a demon. He wanted to keep him alive because he was his little brother. We knew that he delved into powerful magics back in the academy. But I believe we are still missing something. Like, on the time that went from when Zeref got separated from the small dragon slayers, one of which was his brother, and until the days of now, there's a lot missing. Because he wasn't crazy before. I don't believe that. Before the dragon slayers came to the future, or the present, depends on the perspective. But before they got separated, I do actually believe he had good intentions. Okay, the guy used dark and black magic to bring his brother back. But okay, he didn't mean to turn his brother into a living demon. But from then on, he just kept going. He created the demons of Zeref's book in hopes they could kill him. And another thing, if he knows of the ravines of time, if he wanted to die, which I think he really doesn't want to, he could have just waltzed into a ravine and okay, then I'm back to nothingness. There's something really weird going in Zeref's head, and I would really, really hope we could get to know what it truly is. But alas, I don't think we will be treated to any of that in current Fairy Tail chapters. So, yeah, maybe one day after Fairy Tail is over, we get a side story focused on Zeref's adventures in the 400-year time span, when he met Aelin, when he met August, his son, when he created Rakheed, when he assembled the Spriggans, basically. I would like to see that. I would see that. If Hero came today and said there's going to be a side story of like 30 and 50 chapters, no more than that. More than that is just no. 50 chapters, I think it's a good enough number. But if he came out and said there's going to be a short story of Zeref with set amount of chapters, it's going to focus on this, this, and that, I would see that. Like, we don't need to follow his whole life throughout those 400 years, but just the important details, like him creating his first demon after Natsu, after END, him assembling the Spriggans, I believe would be the most attention span we would have in the arc. Him assembling the Spriggans, him becoming Emperor of the Alvarez Empire, and banding all the Empire together, because if I remember correctly, he was the one to band the Empire together, because the Empire was just a small conglomerate of states and countries. I believe he joined them all together in one massive empire. So I would like to see that, because this whole saga has been rushed. The characters have been rushed. We get basically zero to no information and backstory to the characters. The only ones who had a backstory were Aelin, August, and even then they were bad. Like, Azael, Di Maria. I mean, we got something for Brandish, but that again, like 0 to none. But anyway, as I said, please don't interpret my conclusions wrongly. I enjoyed this chapter. It was a good chapter, and it's as I said, let us hope that the Ravines of Time are the Horcruxes to Fairy Tail. Let us hope that the Ravines of Time are to Fairy Tail as the Horcruxes are to Harry Potter. An important plot point that was only introduced in the pre-last book. In the second to last book. So let us hope that. And that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed this chapter despite all the ranting I did in the end of this video. If you guys have enjoyed it, please do say so in the comment section below. And I'm looking forward to see you in the next video, which is this week's chapter of the 7 Deadly Sins, which I will confess I am more willing to see it because I really want to know what the heck has happened with Rome and Gerard. So I'll see you right away. Bye bye.